Alice Through the Looking Glass is a sequel to the 2010 film Alice in Wonderland. Returning from that film are Mia Wasikowska as Alice Kingsley, Johnny Depp as Hatter Terrence Hightop, Helena Bonham Carter as the Queen of Hearts, Anne Hathaway as the White Queen, and Matt Lucas as Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Joining them this time around is Sacha Cohen, who plays Time. James Bobin takes over as director this time around instead of Tim Burton, who stayed on as producer. After slipping through a mirror, Alice finds herself back in Underland with the White Queen, the Cheshire Cat, the White Rabbit, Tweedledee, and Tweedledum. Her friends tell her that the Mad Hatter is depressed over the death of his family. Hoping to save his loved ones, Alice steals the chronosphere from Time to travel to the past. While there, she encounters the younger Hatter and the evil Red Queen. Oh man, where do I even begin with reviewing this movie? I wanted to post this last night, but after I got home, I wasn't feeling the greatest. Now, I'm not blaming that on the awful movie I just witnessed, but I'm not blaming that either. Oh my word. Was there really that much audience demand for a sequel to the very mediocre 2010 Tim Burton movie? Were people clamoring for that? I mean, yeah, that movie earned a boatload of money when it came out. Just over $1 billion worldwide, I think. But reviews for that movie were very mixed. And part of the reason for the high box office for that movie was it was the first major 3D film to come out after Avatar. I don't think this film is going to come anywhere close to earning that kind of money. This film feels like it's coming out at least 3 years too late. This film is a mess in almost every conceivable way. Alice is a sea captain in charge of her father's boat. Okay. The Mad Hatter is sad because he suddenly remembers that he had a family, and they died in some attack, and that makes him sad, or something. And Alice wants to help her dear friend, so she travels back in time to try to save them. I guess I buy that. That part was actually pretty decent, even if it wasn't based on the beloved stories by Lewis Carroll. The visuals in this movie are pretty good, and James Bobin does a fine job of keeping the aesthetic that Tim Burton created back in 2010. Before I go any further, I need to address the absolutely awful performance that Anne Hathaway gives. I usually like her. She's a very talented actress, but in this film, oh my golly, she's bad. She walks around with like this wide-eyed stare, like looking around, and she does this weird hand thing with her arms and hands just going all around. And I'm guessing that's how the character was written, because it's similar to how she acted in the previous film, and again, she's usually a solid actress. But man, that just annoyed the living crap out of me. And the other actors are also pretty subpar. I mean, Sacha Baron Cohen is pretty good as Time, Helena Bonham Carter is decent, and Johnny Depp is typical crazy Johnny Depp in white makeup. I don't want to dive too deeply into spoiler territory here, because that's not who I am. I don't like to give spoilers on movies, but there's one part in the story that really bugged me. The mirror, or looking glass, that Alice slips through to return to Underland initially was at a home where she was attending a party. She ran away, and she locked herself in a room, and then steps through the mirror. Now, about halfway through the movie, she finds herself back in reality, and as soon as she remembers everything about Wonderland, she goes back to the house to go back through that mirror once again. Now, did she just break into that house? Did no one else notice that? Am I the only one bothered by this? This movie really feels kind of similar to the ABC series Once Upon a Time, where they take familiar characters from fairy tales and whatever, and then just take them in a completely different direction. There isn't really much similarity to Lewis Carroll's story, and I do like that show, Once Upon a Time, for the most part, the first couple seasons especially. Here, though, that concept doesn't really work for me. As I said in the beginning of this review, I think this movie is just an absolute mess. I give Alice Through the Looking Glass a 2 out of 5. And the only reason I'm not giving it a 1 or 1.5 is because the visuals are still pretty cool. It's good eye candy. The rest of it, though, forget it. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Thank you for your support, kind words, emails, Facebook messages, all that. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. As always, all those links are down below in the description. Have a great weekend, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies. Bye-bye.